may seem like great deals, but there is a high cost to fast fashion.
Zara, accusé de faire travailler via ses sous-traitants des réfugiés syriens en Turquie et des enfants âgés de moins de 10 ans. Bonjour Antoine
15
Gignot.
tonnes de vêtements de la célèbre marque danoise H&M partiraient chaque année en fumée. C'est ce que révèle une enquête.
The term fast fashion has become a byword for kind of dodgy practices.
Fast fashion is a huge business and one that does not appreciate prying eyes.
Très bien.
Fast fashion has engendered a rise in informality, a rise in precarity.
The turnaround from design to the finished product must be as fast as possible.
The whole process from order to delivery, 12 days.
With factories located in the heart of Britain.
I will be paid how much?
After 2 weeks, £3.
£3 per hour.
Yes.
The textile industry has a huge environmental impact.
Actually, they are just physically disabled. She is only 26-year-old.
The story of this pretty little dress exposes the dark side of cheap fashion. Our planet is being swamped in clothes, with some 56 million tons sold every year. The number sold in Europe has doubled since the turn of the millennium.
Today, the textile industry is valued at about $3 trillion. It has grown exponentially. There's some numbers that say it's quintupled in volume. It's absolutely crazy. The figures that I have seen estimate that by 2030, the industry will expand by an additional 60%.
With production costs continuing to fall and new collections made at an ever faster rate, customers can constantly refresh their wardrobes.
Fast fashion is the commerce of very inexpensive clothing that you are expected or you are ready to replace very rapidly. It's very typical for the fashion-forward buyer to never wear an outfit that they purchased. You will wear something once or twice, or maybe never.
Mass-produced cheap clothes are a disaster for the environment. How could this be allowed to happen? Among the leaders in disposable fashion is a once small Spanish brand that's become a global giant of the industry. Zara now has more than 2,000 stores in almost 100 countries.
Zara launches 65,000 new products every year. Traditional manufacturers normally have closer to 5,000, so that's over 10 times the number. 65,000 new products equals 200 models per day. Every month, they replace 3/4 of their collection. Competitors do it more like every 4 to 5 months.
Zara was founded in La Coruña, Galicia, in northwestern Spain, a world away from the country's fashion capitals Madrid and Barcelona. La Coruña is the capital of the region and home to Zara's parent company, Inditex. The labels Zara, Bershka, Stradivarius and Massimo Dutti can all be found here under one roof. In 2016, it hosted the 80th birthday celebrations for Zara's founder. Amancio Ortega heads an empire spanning 7,500 branches, with 170,000 employees. Total annual profits over €3 billion. Ortega is one of the richest people on the planet, and one who is famously media shy. For this film as well, he declined to give an interview. In order to outpace the competition, Zara established a unique system. It oversees the entire chain of operations, from the textile factories to the retail outlets, enabling it to maximize the speed of production.
Zara needs 4 weeks from the moment they decide on a new model until the day it arrives in stores. With rivals, it's more a matter of 5, 6, or 8 months. Every week there's something new to discover. The range of items changes at such a pace that it encourages shoppers to come back. The feeling of potentially missing out means that Zara customers visit stores 17 times a year, whereas with the competition it's only 3 or 4 times.
It's rare for former Zara employees to reveal secrets behind the Spanish giant's machinations. This French designer spent 3 years working for Inditex. She designed jeans for Bershka, a label which targets a younger clientele.
Everything is engineered to minimize time loss. It's so obviously a case of copy and paste. That's part of the reason why I left. Eventually, it was too much.
That extreme time pressure makes it impossible to produce truly original items. So the designers go on undercover missions to see what the competition has on offer.
Tous les designers voyagent pour s'inspirer.
All designers travel to get inspiration. So for Zara, we go shopping at high-end boutiques and classic fashion houses so as not to miss out on the latest trends. We'd buy items that we thought were crucial and examined them in terms of shapes, fabrics, and colors. And if we had something that met all 3 criteria...
You tried to copy it?
Yes.
Designers buy items of interest and then adapt them into low-cost versions under very precise specifications.
We had copyright training sessions several times a year to make sure we didn't make one-to-one copies. You had to have at least 7 points of difference to avoid getting sued.
You had to create differences?
Exactly. It's hard to follow fashion trends and not copy them. A real balancing act.
Now and again, some of those small fashion labels try to fight back and sue the corporation. But they rarely succeed. One manufacturer refused to agree to a financial settlement. Rains. The Danish company manufactures raincoats, sold in over 20 countries.
These are the evidence, yeah.
Founder Daniel Brix designed the brand's biggest success, this green raincoat.
Well, this was actually one of the pictures we did when we discovered the copy in the market. So here we have 2 twins wearing the same jacket. Fortunately, one of the twins bought the Zara jacket, and the other twin have the original range jacket.
On the right, the original. On the left, the cheaper edition from Zara.
The design has been stolen, for sure. I don't even kind of understand the motivation of doing something which is so similar, since it's so easy to do something which is a bit different, like everybody else do. But in this case, they have made a product which is one-on-one the same.
A clear example of a copy without the 7 stipulated differences. An error that should not have happened. After all, the firm's legal department can reject a garment it deems too risky.
Every time we made a logo or a print, we'd show it to the legal people, and usually it was approved. But sometimes we'd get feedback saying, "Be careful, it's too similar." And then the garment had to be reworked. It drove our graphic design team crazy.
A legal battle with Inditex can be a pricey undertaking. But Reins is a successful brand. The Danish company decided to take the risk and sue for plagiarism.
While a case like this cannot be done for less than 300,000 euros, and even more than that, so it's relatively expensive. Yeah. We hired in private detectives in China to find out information about the whole process of applicating our products. We have 2 factories confirming that they were instructed through a production agent that they were to make the same jacket as ours for this customer, Sarah, in Spain.
In the spring of 2020, 3 years after the suit was submitted, Zara was found guilty by a Danish court. It had to reimburse commercial damages and agree not to imitate Reins products again. Clothes make people, more the case today than seldom before. Around half of all Instagram posts are connected to fashion and beauty products. Camille Calon is a social media star who posts new photos and videos daily for her followers under the pseudonym Noholita.
Here we have ASOS, Zara, Naked, and some Nasty Gal jeans. 80% of my wardrobe is fast fashion. I've always been a shopping addict, and I love to change my outfits around. When I see something, I order it. I have to have it right away and don't want to wait for it.
This reflexive impulse to buy is no coincidence. It is specifically triggered in certain areas of the brain. This is the field of research of the American psychologist Alexander Janevsky. He's an expert in neuroeconomics.
There's an area that is just about here that is called the ventral striatum, or the nucleus accumbens, and this is a part of the brain that is often associated with reward processing or positive emotions. So most of the things that we care about are how positively someone is responding to a product or a firm or a brand will be represented by activity in this region.
The more manufacturers know about the way our minds work, the more they can influence our purchasing behavior. Fast fashion triggers our brain's reward circuit, with the primary factor being the price.
Here, for example, you can see something that costs around 15 euros. I'm wearing a Nasty Gal sweater and jeans from Boohoo. I think the sweater costs around 20 euros and the pants 30.
If the price is particularly low, specifically if it's low compared to what you're used to seeing or alternatives in the marketplace, it can actually be seen as a positive aspect or a part of the appeal of a product. You see it less as having to sacrifice that amount of money, but more that you are getting something and able to save much more than you would have had to pay otherwise.
Sure, the lower the price, the more things you put in your basket, and you end up with more than you'd planned. That's the trap.
Low prices, limited edition collections, and no end of stimuli and incentives, above all via social media. Fast fashion is abandoning traditional advertising due to its high cost and limited scope for targeting specific groups. Instead, companies now recruit influencers like Noholita.
Now you go from a company telling you why you should be interested in a product to an individual that you aspire to be or you really like. It seems like these people are talking directly to you and recommending these products.
Influencers are the stars of this new form of advertising, where every fan or follower is a potential customer. The higher the profile of an influencer, the more money they earn. Noholita can earn up to 5,000 euros for one video alone.
It's been a big change for brands because we sell their products, so they spend increasingly larger budgets on influencers because we're bound to sell something. On Instagram, we can even post links. So I'll add links to a dress or shoes, so afterwards people end up on the vendor's website and we get paid according to the sales that were made via these links.
We spend an average of 2 to 3 hours a day on our smartphones. 1 in 2 users has a shopping app.
The internet is the new mall, when you're looking at a young generation where it shops constantly shops. You're constantly online. And you're constantly clicking, and your credit card is memorized by your smart device, and you click on something, and you click, and it comes to your house.
The traditional leaders in fast fashion have had to re-evaluate their strategy model in response to the success of companies that sell exclusively online. They are faster and cheaper and are the inventors of ultra-fast fashion. Boohoo is one of these new online giants. In 2019, the turnover of this British brand approached €1 billion. It has its own flagship label, in addition to others, including Pretty Little Thing. The Boohoo website features this dress for €9, the kind of price where you might assume it was made in an Asian factory. This garment, however, was made in Europe. To be exact, in Leicester, a city with a population of some 300,000 people in the English Midlands. Until the 1970s, it was a hub of the British clothing industry, exporting its textile products all over the world. Thousands of workers were employed in large-scale factories. The textile sector has returned to Leicester, albeit with working conditions normally associated with the developing world. A clandestine world in which cameras are not welcome.
अपनी लेस्टर की क्लोथिंग ऊपर आएगी अच्छी बात करें
Once people see with camera, there will be 100 phone calls in Leicester within 15 minutes now.
The man permitting us to film is Saeed Khilji. Originally from Pakistan, he's one of the city's most successful entrepreneurs.
This is a factory where we are making garments.
How many people are working here?
We have 92 people. 92 people working. And this is one of the biggest factories in Leicester.
Yeah.
All fast fashion coming from Leicester. And Leicester has great manufacturing capacity that nobody has in UK. Not even in UK, nobody has in whole Europe. Leicester can deliver any garments within unbelievable delivery time. Leicester is master of fashion garments.
Manufacturers partly returned to Leicester due to its location in central England, which on the logistical front means saving time. And time is very much a factor for Saeed Khilji. In addition to developing his own label, he also supplies British fast fashion brands.
So the whole process from order to delivery, it's 12 days. This is the unique point of Leicester, of our industry here, that we can do quick, fast service, quick delivery. The fabric is available here all the time. So if the customer needs it very urgently, we can provide them within 2 weeks' time.
But you cannot lose 1 day.
We cannot lose 1 hour. Forget 1 day. This is hour. We are calculating hours and minutes here, not days.
Clothing designed, produced and delivered within 2 weeks. That's twice as fast as Zara and at unbeatable prices. But that efficiency comes at a high price. The factory district, with its opaque system of subcontractors, has become a lawless zone.
We have few number of very powerful brands or retailers, buyers at the top, that place orders to a very large number of smaller manufacturers that chase smaller orders every day, obviously engenders competition and pushes prices down. For manufacturers, it's always important to take any order they can get, even if they don't have the capacity to fulfill the order. And that is part of the problem. They have to subcontract it. And often they subcontract it to second or third tier factories where working conditions are of a much lower standard than they might be in the first tier manufacturer.
As can be seen all over the city, there's no shortage of vacancies for all jobs in the production process. Tanya is a journalist. Equipped with a hidden camera, she goes undercover for a look inside the clothes factories of Leicester.
I'm looking for a job. Do you know if somebody here is looking for somebody? I learn very quickly, so I'm looking for a little job. I don't know, packaging, sewing.
How many times here?
In Great Britain?
Yeah.
Only for some weeks. So do you know somebody who is looking for some workers?
You know, it's time. 1 week, yeah? It's good work, no problem.
Okay.
Okay? But this one you raise is cash, no transfer money. You know any problem?
And no problem, no.
Come. This one, keep.
Okay.
The windows are covered up. It's the middle of winter and there's no heating. The boss insists on a trial period without pay.
You can just 1-2 weeks try. This is learning, ladies. After 2 weeks, £3.
£3
Yeah.
per hour?
Yeah.
£3 per hour is below the statutory minimum wage in Britain. In fact, less than half of it.
How much hours should I
What do you
work?
like? No problem. 10, 12 or 14.
Even 14?
Yeah, no problem. It's no problem.
So I can...
If you're happy, no problem.
At what time should I come here every morning?
8 o'clock.
Okay.
6 o'clock finish.
8 o'clock till 6 o'clock. Okay. I will try. This one, it's not an easy one.
Tanya's training comprises a brief demonstration on a sewing machine.
But I have 2 weeks to learn it, to learn to do it.
This one is top, yeah?
And what is this?
Skirt.
Skirt. Okay.
Soon, novice seamstress Tanya is making skirts without pay. The skirts will be sold online by a major fast fashion label.
Pretty little things. Pretty little things.
Pretty Little Thing belongs to the Boohoo Group. The skirts, sewn by Tanya, will sell for €15 a piece. It's barely 1 p.m. when suddenly work stops. Orders have dried up. Workers employed on an hourly basis are sent home with no compensation pay.
Fast fashion has engendered a rise in informality, a rise in precarity. Workers essentially work on a system of informal zero-hour contracts. so they never have a contract.
So see you tomorrow?
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye, Tanya.
Bye.
The factories in Leicester have a bad reputation, prompting many labels to shift production elsewhere. But not the Boohoo Group with Pretty Little Thing, a label very much on the rise. In 2019, its sales doubled to a total of almost €400 million. Pretty Little Thing declined a request for an interview, so we headed for the opening of its Parisian showroom to speak to its CEO. Umar Kamani is the son of the founder of Boohoo, Mahmoud Kamani. The company has made him a billionaire. Surrounded by his bodyguards, Kamani Jr. revels in the pop star-like attention.
Thing. We want to be more than a fashion website. We want to be a lifestyle brand. We want to give good meaning to the customer, you know, good values. If you have a daughter, we think Pretty Little Thing should inspire girls in the right way.
I've got a dress here. It's a dress, it's 15 euros. How are you able to do a dress 15 euros? It's made in the UK. How do you do this?
Yeah, I'm not answering this question.
Why?
I don't want to.
Why? It's your dress.
Yes.
It's PLT.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
I don't want to answer the question.
Why?
Why? I don't have to answer a question, do I?
No, but I'm just asking a simple question. How is it you...
Ask somebody else.
But you're the boss, no?
Ask somebody else.
No. We know this dress is made by workers that are paid half the minimum wage.
Never.
We know that.
Never.
How do you address this? That's over?
After this eventful meeting, we received a statement from Pretty Little Thing. All textile workers at Pretty Little Thing are treated fairly and receive at least the minimum wage. Producing clothes at such a low price comes at a high environmental cost. The textile industry is the second biggest polluter in the world, after oil.
Per one part, 1 ton of fabric, as we call it, 200 tons of water are polluted. So 1 to 200 is the ratio. The more commerce there is, the more pollution there's going to be without efficient filtration and cleanup technology. If the fashion industry is going to expand by an additional 60% in the next 10 years, then we're going to get 60% more pollution.
Under the pressure of public opinion, the textile industry is trying to rebrand. At trade shows, the colour of choice is green. Organic, sustainable, recyclable. Green fashion is in trend. And one particular fabric embodies this shift. Viscose, cheap artificial silk popular with fast fashion brands. This red dress from ASOS and the snake print design from Boohoo are made of 95% viscose.
So this is the wood. From here you make the pulp, and from there you make fiber. So that's viscose. the cellulosic fiber. And from here it became yarn, from yarn to fabric. The process it takes from where you source the wood, the kind of certifications you fall into, all that put together helps you a nature-based product, yeah. Viscose is more eco-friendly.
Viscose is only manufactured by a handful of companies around the world. Among them is the Aditya Birla Group, a $40 billion Indian conglomerate. Inditex, H&M, ASOS, all the big names buy their viscose from Birla.
We believe that the planet comes first. Our philosophy of forest to fashion ensures that while
Viscose, according to Birla, is a blessing.
that what's good for the planet is what's good for us.
But transforming wood into fabric requires a huge amount of chemicals. One of the most dangerous is a highly toxic solvent, carbon disulfide, or CS2.
Well, it's marketed as a green product. Is it basically a lie? Yes. It's an extremely interesting poison.
The danger emanates from the fumes produced. To give the viscose its thread-like texture, CS2 is added to the wood pulp, which is then immersed in a bath of sulfuric acid.
The minute it hits sulfuric acid, the carbon disulfide leaves the cellulose. Unfortunately, where it leaves the cellulose too is the workroom where the workers are working. It just goes up into the air.
Nagda, in the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh, is home to the Birla Group's first factory. Built in 1956, it's a city within a city, with a workforce of 5,000 toiling away here day and night. Journalists are not welcome. Paul Blanc has assimilated the health problems associated with CS2 in a book. They include eye disease, infertility, and vascular problems.
When I did my work on this book, I visited the areas in Wales where these large factories had been. I started to get emails from people, and they would say, you know, my father died at the age of 42 from a heart attack. He worked in the factory, and we never got a penny in him.
Ashok Porwal began working at Birla in 1981. In June 2019, he suffered a heart attack, which he says was caused by his job.
Yes, I consider the company responsible. The heart attack I had was because of my work there. I filtered the viscose.
Were you given any training?
No, I was made to work without training. They told me to just go ahead. We filtered the CS2 by hand, with cloth. The company never gave me any warning. No official ever said anything. They told me that doing this job was safe.
At the age of 58, Ashok Porwal is on indefinite sick leave, without pay. Abhishek Kurazia is one of the few residents of Nagda to take action against the pollution linked to the factory. A law student, he filed a complaint against the company.
Actually, they are not allowing the people to come inside the company. They are just always hide the all thing in front of the all people. Nobody can take action against them because they have too much long hand.
The students' complaint alerted the regional authorities. In January 2020, the Pollution Control Agency inspected the Birla factory. The factory was ordered to change its practices. Most importantly, officials demanded a study of the effects of pollution on the health of workers, looking in particular at carbon disulfide, CS2. North of Nagda, along the Chambal River, there are 20,000 people living in around 20 villages. Among them is Pamakedi, located 4 kilometers from the plant. For years, the villagers have been reporting health problems. The residents' complaints were finally taken seriously by the authorities. Today, a team of doctors has arrived to examine residents. Among the patients is this father who came with his 2 disabled sons.
These children were born healthy. They used to be able to walk and go to school. This one walked to school until the 6th grade, so his muscles were functioning normally. But little by little, they degenerated, and now he's in a wheelchair.
There are no official statistics, but many villagers show similar symptoms: paralysis, articulation problems, and even loss of speech.
In this single family, there are 3 people are suffering from physical disability. This girl has been 26-year-old, and they both brothers are 23 or 24 years. Actually, they are just physically disabled, and the growth of the body is stopped. And you just see the hair of that girl. She is only 26-year-old.
The government doctors counted 209 individuals with health complaints linked to pollution. For locals, there's one main suspect, Birla. They accuse it of having dumped its waste into the river for decades. The village of Pamakedi has no running water. People here drink water from wells fed by the river. In 2018, Birla began distributing drinking water to villages in the area. It finances 6 daily deliveries, providing 90 litres of water for each family.
The companies are availing the drinking water.
Why would the company give free water to the inhabitants?
Because they know that they are responsible for the pollution. Otherwise, why they are just providing the water to the, not this village, they providing 22 villages. And they know that they are responsible for the pollution. And they only provide the water for drinking purpose, not other uses.
To water their fields, the farmers in Pamakedi still use polluted water from the river. In January 2020, the authorities ordered Birla to improve the water quality downstream from the plant. But Birla denies all responsibility, insisting that any pollution is unrelated to viscose production. Meanwhile, global demand for viscose is soaring. The factory in Nagda has plans to expand capacity and its facilities. The fashion industry wants us to believe it has increasingly sustainable credentials. But in reality, the opposite is the case. The lifespan of a fast fashion garment is short, and not only because in some cases things are only worn once and then discarded.
This garment has not been worn very often, but you can already see signs of pilling around the hips. With this dress, the fibers have quickly become worn out, so it no longer looks new. When it comes to these fast fashion items, you couldn't sell them in a second-hand store either.
Under 1% of our clothing can be recycled. Every year, 4 million tons of textiles end up in the trash here in Europe. Can we stop this fast fashion craziness? There are small brands supporting slow fashion, clothes of a higher, fairer and more sustainable quality. Efforts that soon reach their limits because slow fashion seems to have a limited appeal. Studies by the French Fashion Institute revealed that stores with less new items simply see a lower financial turnover.
If I had $1 for every time somebody asked me, tell me what I should buy, I say nothing. Nothing. You have way too much stuff already. But now what do? What do we say? Stop spending money? This is not a viable economic solution. Not shopping is not a solution to the industry. So fast fashion will continue to be popular, and it will continue to show strides towards improving towards circularity. So we might see minor improvements in product development, but we will not see the end of fast fashion.